Hey y'all, this is Marley K. Hope everybody is doing well. Um, I want to do a discussion on what is happening because, like, we're in the midst of the Great Reset. Mystery Babylon is being exposed, and a lot of what is happening in Revelation 18, we're actually witnessing today. So, y'all know I like to talk about real time events and link them to some of the stuff that's going on in biblical prophecy. Not to be skipping over anything, but things are happening all at one time. And so, if you think you're going to be able to just go chapter by chapter and see stuff, like you're going to have to look at Daniel, Ezekiel, Jeremiah, Revelation, and even a lot of the precepts in the Apocrypha, like Second Baruch. There is so much stuff going on. It's like really exciting if you're a believer. If you are secular, you're afraid. I'm sure because these things, like is happening, but you ain't right, and you still love this system and you love this world. Those of us who are believers are waiting on the millennial kingdom. We're hoping to be a part of the millennial kingdom, but until that time, we also have to understand that Babylon must fall. And because we are in the belly of the beast, we being Yasharel, the lost tribes that ain't really lost, we just scattered and hidden for such a time as appropriate by the, deemed appropriate by the Creator. We're sitting back watching all these things happen, and you know, everything that has happened thus far since I awakened, it's just truly amazing. But like this time, like this is what I have been looking for: the decoupling of this system, the the 10 kings, the betrayal, like the double cross, because y'all know the Babylonians, Edom, Esau, the West, whatever you want to call them small hats, everybody, the heathen, they love to betray each other. They will do anything to survive. And this is one of those situations where the colonizers are attempting to reinvent themselves. This biblical prophecy where they are trying to take over the whole world, and they have everybody um, drunk, thinking that they're going to be able to get rich, and this new system is going to be good for everybody. Everybody's going to be prospering. This thing is a wrap. Um, and because we don't have a true grasp of time, they keep throwing out these years: 2032, 2035, 2050, 20. Like, I personally do not believe that these time frames are accurate. I think they are created to misguide us because too much stuff is happening in order for them to, um, you know, to me, their plans are being accelerated, or I guess their time frame is on time, but it's because they're working with fallen angels, fallen technology. They know far more than we do. So when it comes to time and actual event, like I watch the events, I don't try to necessarily focus on time, but I do realize we do not have a true grasp of time. They know what time it is. We do not. And so that's why it's very important for us to make sure we are praying and repenting, trying to develop the ruach in us by reading the word and getting wisdom and knowledge and understanding, because Babylon is falling. Mystery Babylon is falling. So we're not at this point yet, but I want to read Revelation 18 because it's so loaded. And we could talk about real-time events, but I have some other stuff that I want to do too, especially about the little small hats over yonder that's tearing up the world. So this is Revelation 18, lament over fallen Babylon. So after this, I saw another angel coming down from heaven. He had great authority, and the earth was illuminated by his splendor. That time ain't come yet. With a mighty voice, he shouted, "Fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great. She has become a dwelling for demons and a haunt for every impure spirit, a haunt for every unclean bird, a haunt for every unclean, detestable animal." So, you think about everything is being perverted and polluted now. Everybody's DNA is tainted. So, when you talk about impure spirits and unclean birds and detestable animals, we don't know what these people have done. But if you are a person that spends any significant amount of time in nature, you look up in the sky every day, you see these planes flying over us. You see the animals behaving erratically. We know the air isn't clean. We know the water isn't clean, and these people are, these spirits are doing this. These demons are doing this. In particular, in Babylon. And Babylon is a system. So, we can say, for all intended purposes, it's a global system, and it's getting ready to be blown up so that they can usher in this new world order. So it says, "For all nations have drunk the maddening wine of her adulteries." Every nation, all the nations. And when it talks about all the nations, I keep thinking about WEF and the United Nations. Everybody is a part of these. When I say everybody, I mean every nation is a part of this Babylonian system. And part of it is because of fear, because the West, they rule by the sword, and so people are afraid and they go along to get along, which is something that we need to pay attention to, because these people and nations have sold their souls and sold souls of their people. Make sure you are not one of those people, because you're going to have to pay a price, which you're going to learn about. So it says the kings of the earth, and we're witnessing the tech kings. We're witnessing BRICS and these other nations who have committed adultery with Babylon are now trying to divorce themselves from her. And the merchants of the earth grew rich from her excess luxuries. America is excess everything. We got the fattest people on the planet. We got the sickest people on the planet. We have the most junk that nobody needs, and we're known for excess luxuries. Not just America, but the West in general. And it comes from the West and America exploiting other nations and using our people to teach consumerism. So, when you look at us and you compare it to other nations, like, we don't even have it. Like, we don't have wealth like the Middle Eastern nations. And they have wealth because they not only were colonizers, they were colonized. So they bought into the colonization piece early and have benefited royally from the exploitation, enslavement, and theft of resources that did not belong to them. So it says, warning to escape Babylon's judgment. Now this is what we need to pay attention to. It says, "Then I heard another voice from heaven. Come out of her, my people, so that you will not share in her sins, so that you will not receive any of her plagues. For her sins are piled up to heaven, and God has remembered her crimes." This is why I keep talking about this system. Like, we have to, it's going to be hard. We're going to be poor because you're going to be punished for not wanting to be a part of this system. So, you look at people now today having a good time. I keep on talking about the boots on the ground because it's really annoying. It's showing up in my thread all the time. I'm so tired of it. But boots on the ground, people dancing, black people doing line dances. Y'all's chosen people are out here cutting the pure fool, engaging in all kinds of pleasures and fun and excitement, eating and drinking and getting married, going on vacation, buying stuff. Like, they don't understand the times that we're living in. So, those people are going to take part in her plagues because they're not repenting, they're not changing, they're not getting wisdom and knowledge, and they definitely are not paying attention to the times. And even if they are, they're still not doing anything to set themselves apart because they think that Babylon's social safety nets are going to catch them. Those are being taken away. And like I was telling, my friend, um, Watchman Nehemiah, we were talking just about how so many people are not really paying attention to the times, and they believe that they're gonna keep getting Social Security. They think their pension's gonna keep uh, gonna keep um, coming. They think that they're gonna keep on living in Section 8 housing. They think they're gonna just keep on going to work every day, and everything is gonna be the same. It's not gonna be the same. You're not gonna get no WIC for your baby. You ain't. The food banks are running out of food because the government stopped funding it. Small farms that partner with school districts and with food banks are no longer receiving their government subsidies to provide those services. So people are losing their farms, people are losing their businesses, people are gonna starve. It hadn't, you hadn't seen it yet, but it's coming. So it says, give back to her as she has given. Give, and then that's why I always say, give them back their stuff. I'm a firm believer in giving Babylon and these Babylonians back their stuff. Pay her back double for what she has done. We ain't supposed to pay nobody back. That's Yah's or the Creator's job to do that. But we should be watchful and understanding. For us, literally, we need to check out of this system because it has failed us all. It has taught us how to sin. It has taught us how to be immoral. It has taught us to be selfish and individualistic. It has taught us to disobey and walk away from the law, statutes, and commandments that were given specifically to us. And we were supposed to give them to the world. But because we so hard-headed and we love other people's stuff, we are all tangled up in our underwear, and a lot of us are trying to get ourselves together, but it's still difficult because we got one foot in, one foot out. So you gotta take the other foot out and see it for what it is. And I'm not saying you're gonna be able to come out of it completely, but check out as much as you can. Pour her a double portion for her own cup. Give her as much torment and grief as the glory and luxury she gave herself. So not only will the West and America or this entire system, the Catholic Church, the Roman Empire that has been hidden, they have given everybody torment and grief, and they bathe in luxuries that they've stolen. They're going to receive everything that they have given out and dole to the planet. In her heart she boasts, I sit enthroned as queen. I am not a widow. I will never mourn. Now, don't that sound like white people? I didn't do it. I ain't responsible for that. I didn't kill nobody. I didn't spill no blood. We ain't gonna die. We are the most powerful planet. We have the best military. We have the best swords. We have the greatest warriors. We got SEAL Team 6. We got special ops. We got this, that, and the other. That's what we do. Esau leads and controls and devours with the sword. And they do not find themselves guilty. That's why today when they talking about they protesting, I ain't think about them people. They can be in the street all they want because they are part of the problem. If they listen to us, the world will be good. Maybe the Most High will find, grace and mercy upon them. But they won't listen. And then it's like, well, I heard you. Well, I'm beginning to listen. They did the same. They said the same stuff during the George Floyd protest. It's like they are retarded. Seriously. But it's not that. It's that they don't know how to live because the Most High didn't give them this way. This is our way, which is why, like, it's in our DNA. It's not in their DNA to be moral, unless they are truly converted. They've been circumcised mentally and spiritually, and their hearts have been circumcised. They just don't get it. That's why they keep on saying, I'm listening, I'm understanding. No, don't listen and understand. Get your butt in that Bible. Get it. You got to get that on your own. You can't get it from us. We can guide you there, but if you ain't going to listen to that word and get your heart circumcised so that it will change your behavior, it doesn't matter what you say. So that's why I don't even listen to them no more. I don't care what they're talking about. They can't tell me nothing. I done seen them in action. My daddy have, my grandma have, both my late grandmamas, my great granddaddy. People can't tell you nothing. They don't change. And so this is why they're going to be judged. Therefore, in one day her place will overtake her, death, mourning, and famine. She will be consumed by fire, for mighty is the Lord God who judges her. And so, I want to say, we shouldn't be expecting some, not saying that this can't happen, but like a big old something gonna come out of the sky and these things are going to happen. These things are happening now. Death is happening now. Mourning is happening now. Famine has begun, but it ain't nowhere near where it's going to be. We're in the beginning stages of this. And so this is why we need to pay attention. And this is why it was very important for you to do what the word says in Matthew. When the Messiah told us what to do, what the signs were, and in Daniel and Jeremiah and in Ezekiel, when we got examples of how we're supposed to prepare for these times, this is what we have been preparing for. And not saying that our preps are going to save us, but at least we will be able to stave off some of these things and preserve ourselves so that we can save other people and help other people and teach other people when these things come to pass, when they get really bad, because they're happening now. But for a lot of people, they don't believe, like the old people say, they don't believe shit stank until they smell it. People are not going to believe anything that we say until they feel it, until they physically feel it, or until they can see it with their natural eyes. We are blessed because we have the Ruach and we can see with our spiritual eyes. We can hear the voice of the Ruach and understand what we're supposed to do. But a lot of people cannot because they're so caught up in this world. They're still listening to worldly music. They're eating worldly food. They're going to the church. They're not being taught. So they don't know, and they're definitely not reading their word, because if they did, they'd be scared as do right about now. Threefold woe over Babylon's fall. So it says, when the kings of the earth who committed adultery with her and share her luxury see the smoke of her burning, they will weep and mourn over her. Terrified at her torment, they will stand far off and cry. Quote, woe, woe to you, great city, you mighty city of Babylon. In 1 hour your doom has come. And I believe this is where we're getting ready to get to. Because you look at what's going on in the European Union, they are all terrified. They're trying to gather up troops and gather money and train people, because they have been relying on NATO, which was funded mostly by American taxpayers for decades. And now Coke 45 then came in and said, nah, we ain't doing that no more. So everybody, is the cross and the double cross that's going on. And it's crazy to see it happening in real time. I like can't really believe that we witnessing it. Like white peoples is fighting each other. And this is like governments, kings. But wait till it comes to the streets, because it's coming. But we have to prepare ourselves for the collapse of this place. And I feel like movies like Leave the World Behind, Civil War were just bellwethers. But I don't even believe we're going to be able to have a civil war, because people are so cowardly today. They got all the guns in the world, but ain't nobody doing nothing. They ain't doing nothing. They talking about protesting. I'm going to send a strongly worded letter to the streets. Man, get out of here. You ain't never been freed by no protest. You ain't never been freed by no protest. I don't care if it's economic or going to marching in the streets, going to Washington, wherever you're going. It's just all performative. So if you look at the history, especially biblical history of how the Israelites were free, we never got free by begging nobody. We could beg and talk and plead. Usually we were freed by war. You had to fight your way out. Our men had to fight. Our men first of all ain't in shape to fight nobody. Number two, they don't know how to fight anybody. We know how to fight each other. Good. But we ain't finna fight our enemy, our true enemy. And not only that, because we are out of order, the Most High is not gonna bless us. So a lot of our people are going to be destroyed because we're not on one accord. We're not being obedient. We are not walking in His ways and His laws and His statutes. So a lot of our people are going to be destroyed. The word says judgment begins with the house of Yasharel, and that's going to happen. All of this stuff is going to happen. But as I've said, it's not happening in order. So, that's one of the other things that I just want to continue to drill into us, that things are happening. They're not happening in order. They're just happening. This is the end of an age, and all the things that happen at not only just at the end of the age, but at the end of this system, this empire, is happening now. So it says, the merchants of the earth will weep and mourn over her, because no one buys their cargoes anymore. Cargoes of gold, silver, precious stones, and pearls, fine linen, purple, silk, and scarlet cloth, every sort of citron wood, and articles of every kind made of ivory, costly wood, bronze, iron, and marble. Cargoes of cinnamon and spice, of incense, myrrh, and frankincense, of wine and olive oil, of fine flour and wheat, cattle and sheep, horses and carriages, human beings sold as slaves. Nobody ain't gonna buy nothing because we ain't gonna have no money. Nobody's gonna buy nothing because they understand you gotta starve the Babylonian system. We are in the belly of the beast, so we are collateral damage. Now, I believe the Most High is going to preserve us, because that's why He told us to prepare. That's why He's been telling us for 7 years. I'm going to go say 7 years, but a little longer than that. But I know I've been prepping for about 7 years, physically and mentally preparing for this particular time. But I also understood that when this time comes, we ain't going to have no money. We ain't going to have no power. The ways that we buy, we're not going to be able to buy. The merchants ain't going to have nothing to sell because they're going to be going out of business. Or they're going to be looted because people are going to be destitute and they're not going to have nothing. So they're going to take from the merchants of the earth. These countries that have companies here, they're either going to close up or they're just going to walk away and cut their losses. And they're not going to buy nothing. They're not going to sell nothing to us, and they're not going to buy nothing from us. So it's going to be a difficult time for those of us who are a part of this system, but particularly in the West, in America, in Europe, and in Canada. The double cross is happening. You look at the tariffs and what's going on now. The cost of things are going to be so expensive that we're not going to be able to afford nothing. We barely can afford the light bill. We barely can afford to pay rent and our mortgages. We barely can buy eggs. So just imagine how things are going to get in a little bit. So it says the merchants who sold these things and gained their wealth from her will stand off afar, terrified at her torment. They will weep and mourn and cry out, woe, woe to you, great city, dressed in fine linen and purple and scarlet, and glittering with gold, precious stones, and pearls. In 1 hour, such great wealth has been brought to ruin. When this stock market crashes and the whole global economy crashes, because we created this system. When I say we, I mean them, America and the West. They created this scheme. Everybody's going to be distraught, but other nations have been building their new systems apart from the West for some time, and I've been talking about it, and that's why I've been talking about it, because I want y'all to understand what happens, what seems like is going to happen overnight for us. Everybody else has been already planning for it and preparing for it. We're going to be caught off guard, but the rest of the nations have already been working to protect their people and protect their nations. Babylon has been living a lie, and they can't live that lie anymore. Every sea captain and all who travel by ship, the sailors and all who earn their living from the sea will stand far off. When they see the smoke of her burning, they will exclaim, was there a city like this great city? They will throw dust on their heads and with weeping and mourning cry out, woe to you, great city, where all who had ships on the sea became rich through her wealth. And how did they become rich? From the slave trade, from theft, stealing stuff from the African continent, enslaving people. How many people were killed in the Congo? The West has so much blood on their hands. Even here, you give us something, you take it back. You give us a community, you tear it up. You run a highway through it. You put our men in prison. You send our children to school only to send them to a prison pipeline. You treat our little boys like trash. You pretend you can't tell the difference between a black boy and a black man. Like all this stuff. Woe is coming to Babylon, and not just America, to Europe too, because they've done the same thing to their melanated migrants, a lot of which are, scattered tribes, because we are everywhere. Rejoice over her, you heavens. Rejoice, you people of Yah. Rejoice, apostles and prophets, for God has judged her and the judgment she imposed on you. So we're supposed to be rejoicing at the fall of Babylon. We're supposed to be rejoicing at the collapse of this system, because this is our redemption. We get an opportunity to be free. Now, don't mean they ain't gonna persecute us. Don't get it twisted. Y'all know Miss Ann and Mr. Charlie, baby. When they get mad, they got to come and get us. But we are supposed to be happy that this system collapses, even if it means that we're going to struggle, even if it means we're going to be hungry, even if it means we might be homeless, even if it means, some of us may perish. We still need to rejoice, because our ancestors have suffered for so long and mistreated and treated so harshly because of Babylon. We've been misled because of Babylon. We have been, mentally just degraded because of Babylon. The finality of Babylon's doom. So then a mighty angel picked up a boulder the size of a large millstone and threw it into the sea and said, with such violence, the great city of Babylon will be thrown down. And Babylon is going to be thrown down violently, which is why the EU and America is preparing for war, because that's how they live. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. That is true. So You need to be prepared for a lot of bloodshed. It's gonna be ugly. That's why I said, men are gonna be acting like they got labor pains, and men are gonna faint, because of what they see coming on the earth. It's gonna be a lot of bloodshed all over the planet, and because of social media and TV, we're gonna witness it all. You probably gonna witness it all in your communities too, because most people are not moral. They're not living the law, statutes, and commandments, and so you're gonna see people doing what they got to do to survive. So it's gonna be ugly out here, and we need to be preparing for that. It says, with such violence, the great city of Babylon will be thrown down, never to be found again. This place is gonna be gone. It don't need to be around, but also that should let you know that if you are in Babylon, whether it's the West, Europe, America, Canada, if there's an opportunity for you to flee, you need to flee. If you can flee before, if you got the money and resources, you need to be trying to figure out a way to get out of here. If you don't, you need to be praying. And most people don't have the money. I know I don't have the money, and I'm praying that the Most High delivers us prior to. But if he doesn't, I'm going to still rejoice that the system is falling. I'm going to still rejoice that the heathens getting what they deserve. I'm going to still rejoice that they're going to be plundered and spoiled the way they have plundered and spoiled us. That's the Most High avenging us. It doesn't mean that we're going to do it, but it doesn't mean I can't be, having joy that this thing is going down, because with it going down, it means we are coming up. It means our redemption is near. The music of harpists and musicians, pipers and trumpeters will never be heard in you again. Ain't no music gonna be coming from Babylon. Why? Cause we ain't gonna be here. Cause we the salt of the earth. We give them, everything. We've taught them everything. They wouldn't be anything without us. So when they lose us, when they have to relinquish us, or when we leave, ain't nothing good coming from here no more. And the world knows it. They know who we are. They know our talents. They just haters, and haters gonna hate. But they're gonna have to come up off the hate, because they're gonna soon find that they're gonna have to confess who we are. They're gonna have to acknowledge who we are, and they're gonna have to and it's not all of us, because you look at our culture, the culture that they've instilled in us ain't good. We used to be good, model people, used to fight the system, and dress decent, act decent, talk decent, have respect for ourselves. We married, had families. We don't do none of that stuff no more. We just a mess. And so for the few of us that make it out, we're going to lead. And for those of us who don't, they're going to perish. They're going to try to stay around, and they're going to perish because they don't understand time. They don't understand where we are. They believe things are going to go back to the way that they were, and they're not. So it's going to be very important for us to pay attention to what is going on. When they say it's a corridor opening up, you better get your passport, get your go bags, and get on to the line. That's what better happen. No worker of any trade will ever be found in you again. So we ain't gonna even have work here in Babylon. Nobody gonna buy nothing from us. Ain't gonna be no need to produce nothing. We ain't gonna have no money, because there ain't gonna be nothing here. Everything gonna be desolate. The sound of a millstone will never be heard in you again. Ain't gonna be nothing being made here. The light of a lamp will never shine in you again. It's going to be so dark, spiritual darkness and physical darkness. That's why they're trying to hear them throw these power lines up. Everything, you look at everything that they're trying to do to prevent what this precept is talking about, these precepts are talking about, it's not going to work. So, I just look at it and I just always pray, Lord, no, not Lord, but I just say, Yah, please let no weapon formed against us prosper. Whatever they do, let it not work. And, it may work a little bit, for a little while, but most times everything they've been trying is not working, especially since we've been waking up, especially since we've been talking. Y'all know they monitor everything we say, and we've been teaching our brothers and sisters who have been on assignment for this particular time, have been teaching and waking up and putting the truth out. They're scared because they understand when we wake up, that's less time that they have. So they got to accelerate all these plans because they understand their time is coming to an end. The voice of the bridegroom and bride, you will never be heard in you again. So when we leave, that spirit, because we are here in the West or wherever we are in this particular system, and I say the West and America, but really it's the entire system. We're scattered everywhere, and the Most High knows where we are. So wherever we are in this system, the Most High is going to remove our spirit. He's going to remove our physical being, and they ain't gonna hear our wisdom. They ain't gonna get a chance to say, "Oh, we listen to y'all, we hear you." They ain't gonna hear us no more. So when you hear white people saying they hear us, we're going to be gone soon. Their moral compass is broken. We're their moral compass that they don't listen to. And so when we leave, they're not going to hear from us no more. Because I ain't checking for them. I ain't trying to help them survive. They've been trying to kill us since we've been here. So, they have to get their judgment. We're walking out of ours and into our promises, and they have been, they have had our promises because they had their chance and they screwed it up. So now they got to get their judgment, and their judgment is going to be double the portion, double what we had, double what they've done to us. So they're going to be looking for us, but they ain't going to hear us. There won't be no black women. We listen to black women. We listen to black people. That's them days done. That's why black people are being quiet right now. So the voice of the bridegroom and the bride are leaving. Black people waking up. Even if they don't know or fully believe who they are checking out of Babylon, and white people realize that. So it's a beautiful thing to see, but it's also a dangerous time for us. So we need to understand that the voice of the bride and the bridegroom is going away. It's not completely gone because still got raccoons, but raccoons, I don't know if they're gonna be redeemed. I'm not the Most High, so I can't say nothing about them. But it's very interesting to see black people saying, we ain't doing nothing. We working on ourselves. We building our community. Yada yada yada. It's that time. So it says, your merchants were the world's important people. Look at, the small hats. Look at all the stuff they control. You look at all of our celebrities and all these rich people, all these people who make stuff, alcohol producers, clothing producers, car makers, all the stuff, Walmart, Target, you name it, Amazon. Your merchants were the world's important people. Look at the tech kings. Look at Sam Altman. Look at Elon Musk. Even though he ain't necessarily American, but he is a part of the Babylonian system. Him and his descendants. So you look at them. They're on TV, they're on the internet, they're everywhere. They're important. By your magic spell, all nations were misled. All our stuff, all our technology, all our intelligence agencies, our military, our stuff, all the stuff that we produced, magic spells, all the nations were led astray. By your magic spells, this place cast spells on everybody. They have been casting spells on us. That's why we fool as hell. They've been casting spells on the world. They even been casting spells on their own people. Babylon has cast spells on their own people. Bless white people's heart. They don't even know the truth, and you have to, um, have some grace and mercy for the Gentiles, because a lot of them and the heathen, because they've been misled too. We was out there, I was out there, y'all was out there. We all been misled, but we are awakened. A lot of people are not, and they're still led astray. And if they don't have a quickening, or they don't see the signs and not trying to get into the word, it's gonna be too late. They're gonna perish in their ways. In her was found the blood of prophets and of Yah's holy people, of all who have been slaughtered on the earth. So, you think about all the people, all the Israelites who have been deleted. Not only those who have been deleted, but those who will be deleted, because we refuse to be a part of the system, because we want to check out, because we don't want to help them no more, because their curses and spells ain't working on a lot of us anymore. We waking up. We are, trying to be redeemed. We're trying to live righteously. We're trying to keep Sabbath and the feast, and we're trying to just obey the dietary laws and just do some of the basic things and show the Most High that we are really sincere about this way. And so Babylon is going to have to pay for all the blood of all the prophets and all of Yah's holy people, his righteous people, his people that he chose, who have been slaughtered on the earth. So the slaughtering is still continuing. The slaughtering will continue, but we still need to rejoice, because guess what? This system is falling. Guess what? Our captivity is ending. And so I'm excited, because all this stuff is happening in my lifetime. Now I don't know if I'm gonna get to see all of it happen, but I don't believe that we have much time left. I do not believe we have that much time left. There's a video I want to show y'all from Big Judah, where it shows that this Pope is supposed to be the last Pope. And that's one of the reasons why I focus on what he's saying so much. I'm going to do a video on that today. But, I hope y'all enjoy your Sabbaths and rest. I hope y'all have peace and joy in your heart. This is a very scary time, because we've never been through anything like this. I never expected for us to be living through the end times. I never thought we'd be living at the end of an age. I never thought I would be a part of the book of Revelation, or Ezekiel or Daniel, or I just never thought. But it's exciting. And some days I'm terrified, some days I'm exhausted, but I'm gonna have to rethink my attitude a lot more and just be happy. For me, I feel like we've always been cheated. You think about now what's happening. People are losing jobs. We can't get paid. And, I'm thinking about my own personal situation. I don't know how I'm going to pay my rent next month. But I ain't worried about it, because guess what? The Most High done made away all these months, and I have not missed a meal, and I ain't homeless. But it's just the principle of, they told us to work, and we work hard, and they won't pay us. They won't pay us a living wage. They won't take care of us like they take care of other groups. They take from us to give to other people. That stuff is ending, and I'm not mad about it. And the people who supported these leaders, these kings, these unrighteous kings, they're getting their just desserts, and they're going to continue to get what they deserve, because they are not Christian. They are ungodly. They have no morals. They have hate in their hearts. They worship something else. Their God is not our God. And so it's just a beautiful thing to see. And like I said, I don't wish nothing bad on nobody, but I pray that the Most High avenges His people for all the stuff that we've had to endure, all the lies, all the money that's been taken, all the schemes that have been used, and all the plots that have been, uh, plotted against us. I'm ready for this thing. The people that helped put it into place, the people that voted for it, I hope they get exactly what they asked for. I hope they get it all and then some. I hope they get what they didn't ask for, because we don't live that way. We don't think that way. We have a totally different moral compass than they do. And our voices, our DNA is completely different from theirs. And when we are leaving this place, I'm going to be rejoicing. I pray the Most High makes a corridor for us to get out of here so that we can leave. And I know it's not going to be easy. I suggest y'all start looking at these videos of how these refugee camps are operating and what it's like. It's not going to be easy. And if we stick together, we'll be okay. But if, like I said, if a corridor opens up, y'all better have y'all papers together and your bags packed and be ready to go, because this thing is going down and it is not going to be pretty. So with that, I'm going to end this message. Please like this video, share it, and subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell notification so that you'll be notified each and every time I upload new content. Follow me on Odyssey, Rumble, and on Instagram. As long as the internet is up and I am not incarcerated or deceased, I will try to put out some messages. In the event that the internet goes down, I won't be back. We just gonna be hoboing it, but just be trying to figure out how to get to the corridor, get to the ocean, get to the shore, so you can get up out of here. If you'd like to support this channel financially, my Venmo and Coffee links are in the description. This is a labor of love. I'm not being compensated, and I do not have any sponsors, and even when I work, I can't get paid now. I was told to go get a new career. I did that, and now that ain't working, so I got to learn how to do something else. But I'm believing the Most High is going to look out for me like He always does, and I'm not even concerned. So if you'd like to support the channel, fine. If you can and you want to, bless you. I pray that the Most High blesses you and me tenfold so that we can get up out of here. Lastly, continue to pray, because prayer is going to cover a multitude of our sins, and prayer is going to get us up out of here. Prep. I ain't believing fully in our preps, but I believe this journey is going to require some preparedness. So we need to be prepared to take care of ourselves medically, with food, because we need to prepare for famine, we need to prepare for pestilences, and we need to prepare for plagues. We need to read the word and understand what we are preparing for and be prepared to move accordingly. Repent daily for sins of commission and sins of omission. We gonna mess up. We all do. This is a learning experience for us all, but we trying to make it to the wilderness. So continue to repent so the Most High can know who His children are and who His children ain't. And just make sure that you are obeying the law, statutes, and commandments as best you can, and to your understanding. That's between you and the Ruach. And obeying those commandments, keeping the Sabbath. Those things are very important, because those are going to determine who's marked and who's sealed. Doing those things are in showing the Most High, the Creator, that you are sealed, and not doing those things are showing the Most High that you have the mark of the adversary. And so when it becomes time for us to make that choice, if you're practicing now, it won't be hard. If you're living for the Most High now, it will not be hard. If you're obeying now, obeying later will not be hard. But if you think you're going to get, you thinking it's a 7-year tribulation and you got 7 years, better get your mind together. Stop listening to the Gentiles, because they done led you wrong. They thinking they little white Jesus coming and the rapture coming to take you, so you're gonna miss everything. You're gonna be here hungry, sick, blowed up, going in the wrong direction. So get it together, people. All right. This is Marley K. Love y'all, and